you cut me too deep. I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
Aw, yeah. Like that intro? That's a weird intro.
We're back.
We are here. It is the Deep Cut Podcast.
Deep Cut.
Deep Cuts. With Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
I guess technically since I'm the co-host, I go second. I'm Remix One Up.
And...
You're the co-host, also evil.
You can't have three co-hosts. Co-host is two.
No, you have
Three
you have the host,
three's a crowd.
the esteemed co-host, and then the other co-hosts.
All right.
And then we have the guests.
So
I'm the esteemed co-host.
you're esteemed. Why are you esteemed?
Because I am the tech man. Tech man.
That's not a good reason. Evil
Stuff
Dead
gets
Inc.
steamy.
All right. And...
Our guest of the hour.
Oh, hi, I'm VHS Mikey. What up, tapeworms?
Aw, yeah.
Pantomiming the hand motion as he always does.
Oh, yes.
On this
we're doing
audio podcast.
We do sight gags in our audio podcast because that's just how we roll. Welcome to the third episode of the Deep Cut Podcast. We're still cutting our teeth. We're still learning the ways of the interweb podcasts and, letting you guys know who we are. And we figured that we would introduce one of our good buddies, another internet creator, fantastic human being all around, our good buddy VHS Mikey.
Oh, hey, what up, guys?
And what a great movie to bring him on for. None other than Bill and Ted's.
Excellent adventure. Yes.
We tried doing it live. It didn't work. But, hey, we had Mikey here.
That's right.
We'll do it live.
So if you're cruising around in your car, you're sitting in the sauna, you're at the gym pushing out, whatever the fuck you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're just pooping and you want to listen to a podcast. You're going to listen to us ramble and rant about our experiences with Bill and Ted. And, get to know VHS Mikey.
Hey, that sounds awesome to me. I'm on board.
So, Evil, do you want to give the audience at home, if they're new to this film, sort of a brief plot synopsis?
In the future, things are bleak.
Yes.
Things are rough.
Yes.
But we have a hope.
What hope?
That one hope is the musical group Wild Stallions.
Indeed.
Their music will change the world, unite us in harmony, and everything will be clean, even the dirt. But back in 1988 or 89, whichever one it is, they faced the first crucial problem in their destiny, and that is passing high school history.
Excellent.
So with the help of future tech man Rufus and a time traveling phone booth, they are able to assemble the ultimate history presentation to get an A+ on a history report, which I never knew anyone in all of my high school that got a A+ on a report, had to do a report in front of an entire auditorium, and had a report that lasted longer probably than everyone else's reports all put together.
It is an odd thing, which we will definitely try to dive into. I was curious as to how we were going to approach this, how we were going to put into words our love for this film, because the way that we do this isn't necessarily like a standard review. The way that we talk about these movies isn't from a necessarily critical standpoint. We don't have credentials. None of us went to film school. We don't have our noses up in the air. We don't want to blow the gaffer. We just want to talk about why we love this movie. And we all have different experiences with this movie, including Remix One Up, because I don't believe he's even seen this movie. So he's a tech advisor, which we're going to be calling his wisdom throughout this hour.
How rude of you to assume that I haven't seen a film made in 88 or 89. Of course I've seen this movie.
Have you?
I was more a fan of the cartoon and the sequel. So I've seen this movie like once, as opposed to the 3 billion times that I've seen the sequel.
The cartoon is badass. I love it.
I'm hazy on the cartoon because obviously I haven't seen it since I was a kid. But I suppose since Mikey, you are the guest of honor, why don't you first of all introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do, and then just kind of give us a rundown of why you like this movie so much.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm currently in the process of turning my entire home into a video store, but that's not really... I've kind of shifted away from that focus lately and have gotten to be more of a VHS archive kind of guy and just discussing all things VHS. And one of those movies I really love is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Anytime I need help kind of picking myself back up, or maybe I'm not doing so well that day, I always turn to this movie to kind of lift my spirits. Something about the wisdom of the two great ones always brings me back where I need to be.
Yeah, indeed. It's a very uplifting movie, especially if you, you were seeing this as a teenager or even younger, just kind of seeing that you could not really fit in and you could be kind of a slacker, and that your destiny could be greater than what's happening for you at the moment of high school, life beyond high school. It's one of those stories,
I wasn't a very good student, so I could super relate to what they go through in that movie. I really could have used a phone booth to pass my classes.
I don't think any of us were great students. Evil, were you a very great student in school?
I was average at best.
It's like my height, average at best.
I was a shit disturber. I always got in trouble.
But you seem like the type of person who had straight A's. You seem like the type of person who would ask for extra credit. That just seems like you.
To me, he seems like the person that'd be like, they would ask him to open the book. We're going to do the chapter on this. And he'll be like, I don't need to open my fucking book. I already know.
I know this.
That was definitely me with history.
He knows when the Mongols ruled China. For
you
sure.
know why the Mongols ruled over
Just give me the fucking
China?
test now. I can pass it.
Why did they, Remix?
Jarmaki. I shit you not. It's all about Jarmaki.
What is Jarmaki?
Horseback archery.
All right, okay.
Like in Civilization.
You learn something new every day. See, I told you, I'm not a fucking scholar. I don't know these things. But I do know that this movie has a rockin' fucking soundtrack. And, he wants to have sex with his mom. I know that.
I thought we were talking about Back to the Future. Now I'm confused.
Wait, what? Wrong movie.
No,
wrong time traveling teenager movie.
Well, I think they both want to do Missy.
Mm-hmm. Just like everybody in the audience.
Yeah, she was awesome.
I'm not sure about Ted. I'm iffy on if Ted would. Ted, I feel, would be the one to be like, no, man, it's my mom.
Just put her
Can't bang mom.
Put her face down in the pillow, and there's sections on fucking Pornhub for that.
Oof.
I don't think he's that kind of guy, which I think also plays very much into the fact why we, all three of us, four of us, like this movie so much, is there's literally, I don't think, a negative bone in either of these guys' body. Like, every, duo has some kind of, either snarky, or they have just spots where they're kind of, at least far as, a plot line in a movie would go, kind of shitty in aspects one way or another. These guys are never that. At all. They are always very positive, very innocent, childlike innocence in how they look at everything and everybody. And I feel that's super unique to Bill and Ted, as opposed to Wayne and Garth or Beavis and Butthead, any other duo.
Dude, to be honest, I never really thought of it like that until you just said that, and I was sitting here looking at you saying that, and I was going, these wheels were just turning, and I was going, holy shit, you're absolutely right. And even, early on in Excellent Adventure, when Bill thinks Ted died. Am I saying that backwards? With the fucking...
No.
Okay, yeah, when Bill thinks Ted died. I always have
Ted's dead.
Right. Falls down the fucking... Because they're messing around. They're clowning. And he falls down the steps, and then that dude swords him through the gut, and you're like... there's this little bit of sadness and levity right then and there. And then he's like, nah, dude, I fell out. Like, everything's cool. Like, but they're...
Which, one of the million questions I have, like, how the fuck falling down a flight of stairs do you fall out of an entire suit of armor?
Especially since it takes a squire to put you in one.
I was going to say, have you ever been in a suit of armor?
I
No,
have.
but I don't imagine you could fall out of it.
Is it sealed in the back?
Yes.
It's
Okay,
sealed
so
on the sides.
So you're definitely not falling out of it.
I
Remix
worked at a Renaissance festival. I don't know how accurate mine was. But
had Velcro and shit.
yeah.
I've so wanted to go to the Renfest that we have around here, dressed up like Ash from Army of
Oh
Darkness.
my god, that would be the greatest thing ever. Just eating a giant fucking turkey leg.
Do it.
That would be like...
I need the cosplay. I need the cosplay to do it. I need the brown pants, blue shirt, cape, and a fake shotgun. And a fake chainsaw.
Chainsaw hand, yeah.
We'll do a fan meetup at a Renaissance fair.
Oh man, yeah, that would be fantastic.
That was my first job ever.
That's wild.
I'm jealous.
That-
I was a cook for old people.
I always take slacker jobs. You'll never see me take anything important ever. I always go for like puppeteer, Renaissance fair guy, sticker guy, you name it. I try to get the easy jobs.
I was inventory maintenance and data consolidation for a multi-billion-dollar company.
Man,
That's a lot of words.
yeah, I would have to
I
skip
feel like
out
I
on
could
that.
yawn just from hearing that title.
I mean, they would fire me anyway. So
I made pizza for $3.17 an hour. And then I became a factory grunt. In between that, I worked in a few video stores, which is where, obviously I had a love for physical media because we all grew up with random VHS collections. And, like, I don't know about your parents, but I know that my dad had like an amazing, at least to me, it was an amazing VHS collection. And he had this like leather bound book that he had all the titles in. And it was the most organized thing in the world to me. And it seemed like there were thousands of movies. There was probably 200, But that started me like at an early age of like wanting to catalog movies, alphabetize movies, keep them neat, keep them like an art gallery. And so I worked in video stores, and now the video stores are dead. I obviously had to build my own.
And it's a pretty awesome store.
yeah, it's a lot cooler than what I got going on. I'm in such a state of repair on everything right now. My living room's an absolute mess.
Yours is a lot more rad than you give it credit for, dude.
Thank you.
It's pretty fucking killer. We're gonna take over the world with
Roomier for sure. At least it looks.
Yeah.
It looks roomier.
Yeah, you definitely have more room. This place looks big on camera. It's not big in real life.
Well, I'm building mine to be more like a set that I can just record and do stuff in. If it doesn't get 100% accurate to a video store, that's fine. I don't want to trip over stuff every day.
I'm more of an arcade guy. I think it'd be really cool to have an arcade in my basement. I think that's my goal.
You should do that. I'm not going to
Yeah,
help you
I'm
get the
on board.
cabinets in your basement.
No, I had to build your fucking cabinet.
That's true.
I'll help you carry them down, man.
See, look at that. Our guest Mikey is nice enough. I'll let him play for free.
Well, they don't
Hell
take
yeah,
coins.
man.
I'm not getting those pieces of shit.
Oh, you're not getting arcade
Pantomiming,
one-ups.
pointing it to the corner. I'm getting real arcade cabinets.
Arcade one-up. Strike that last comment from the record. Feel free to sponsor us and send us arcade cabinets. We'll take them.
We'll take them.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'll jam out on them all day.
NBA jam on him out all day.
Evil needs an arcade cabinet in the back room.
He's like, where
I
the
don't know
fuck
where
am I
I'd
going to
put
put it?
Yeah, I've got room, but I don't have room.
Right next to the bathroom.
You just got to throw your shit out like I did, man.
That might actually work because there was something we were gonna put there, but somebody doesn't want that put specifically there, so I probably could easily wedge a arcade one-up right in that spot that you're talking about. That would work. Okay, I can do one or a pinball machine.
Ooh.
One machine.
Pinball machine.
Pinball machine would be fire.
I would love a pinball machine. I got to go. My dad knew a guy he used to work with that had his house was pinball machines. His entire living room was just the entire edging, wall to wall pinball machines.
That's amazing.
Yes, it was.
We see, this is the beauty of our podcasts. for those of you that are new to the way that we do things, we get sidetracked and we go on little tangents. We don't stick to topics very well. I suppose the topic at hand, two topics at hand, are Mr. VHS Mikey and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So, Mikey, if you want to discuss a little bit more about, the things you love about this film.
I think that, mostly the characters are so relatable. I'm kind of a big kid myself, so when you mention their childlike innocence, that's how I feel all the time. I still love all the same things I loved when I was a kid, except for, now I love boobies.
I loved boobies when I was a kid, too, man.
I don't know. I was kind of scared of girls at that age, but I think I was still playing with He-Man when I was way too old. But
I know I was like 15, still playing with action figures. Don't, it's just.
So we're all in that same boat of being like, we probably should stop doing this, but we're not going to stop doing this.
Yeah, who cares? Evil actually has a really awesome story, very similar to what you were saying about like, wanting to stay a kid and just and being who you are. Be true to who you are. Don't ever like fake the funk. Evil and I both have kids, and so there's a lot of pep talks that we have to give our kids when it comes to, letting your freak flag fly. Be who you are, no matter what. And Evil has given that pep talk to his youngest a handful of times, I believe.
Yeah, she's had some spots where it's like she started to like almost get out of some things that she likes because other people don't really like it, and I'm like, hey, I was like, I did not have a whole hell of a lot of friends in high school all the way through. It was like because I was a wrestling fan, and it was never cool to be a wrestling fan. So,
amen.
And I could have not worn the shirts. I could have not been as big a fan as I was, but then I wouldn't have been who I was. So I was like, yeah, it cost me a lot of things, but I wouldn't trade for the other things I would have got. And she's had some spots where she's like, I don't really have any real close friends, and I'm like, you're not going to necessarily. The friends you're going to have are by pure proximity,
right?
For a certain time frame. And at one point, you'll actually find some people that you like, and probably by the best of luck you have, like I have, is like they'll all be way out of state.
Yeah.
It may take to your 30 to find them, but you'll find them at some point. There's no exploding date by you have to find them by this point. They'll come when they come.
Mm-hmm. And we'll just build a bunker, man. We're just gonna build the actual 3B video building, or rent a building, and then we can all just have apartments above it, and we can all just live in proximity of one another. Because that's super true, dude. I had a lot of friends come and go, because I probably had 2 close friends growing up. I can count the amount of people that I associated with on one hand, and at a certain point they fizzle out. They, if you're a wrestling fan, they stop watching wrestling because they get into girls, or you're a horror movie fan, they start shifting gears and they don't like the blood and guts anymore, because that's like it was a really cool thing when I was a kid. Other kids would come over to watch horror movies because I always had the crazy movies. But at some point, they stop giving a shit about like that fun time, about that discovery, and you just part ways. And I probably went a good 10, 11 years without an actual friend, and like meeting Evil was complete chance and changed my life. And then the same thing happened with Remix 3 years ago-ish.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. How we met one another in a small town, and I'm a very kind of like a hermit crab type of dude. I don't go out of my way to meet people or become friendly with people. And he was an odd duck that was working with me. That was a strange kid, but strange in the way that I'm strange. And it seemed like there might have been a period of time where the people that we worked with were really off-put by his type of sense of humor, and the nihilist kind of like jokey nihilist view that we kind of all have. and we just befriended each other. We started like playing video games together and watching movies together and like working out together. And then he like came into the channel, and like now I have him, I have Evil, and then again another chance encounter was meeting you, Mikey. Like,
oh, thanks, man.
And it's one of those crazy things because we can meet people on the internet now that are actual close friends, and I wouldn't trade you guys for the fucking world.
Oh man, all my friends are online, so anytime I want to hang out with somebody, I'm like, oh, what's Raj up to, or whatever. I jump right online because I don't know anybody in this town. The only other person I know is a YouTuber as well, and she's always super busy. So I just hang out online with you guys, and it's so exciting to get just talk and hear your guys' voices and see you on my screen. It's like a dream come true for me. It's like I'm really there.
One day you will be, man. Like this whole podcast thing is a new thing, obviously, for us, but we're no stranger to like building this community and building this family. And we have a lot of big, lofty, crazy goals. And some of the things that we want to do only make sense to do if we're in close proximity. And somehow, some way, we will make that happen.
Hey, man, it's kind of all up to me at this point. I just need to quit doing what I'm doing here, sell my house, and move.
I know we kind of talked at the beginning of the hour about your your journey, what you're doing, because you said you're building a video store in your house. But did you kind of want to talk about like your roots, like where you started, how you started being a content creator, and like anything that you're looking forward to doing this year or the next year or anything like that?
Well, I started out in animation, and I'd make these really crude cartoons about robots, and it was just kind of me and my buddy making each other laugh. And you know, that didn't really pan out. I think I'd get like 37 views a video when they'd take me 6 months to make. So I'd get really discouraged. And then I tried another show called Sneaky Little Raptor, where I just did stupid stunts and reviewed like old 1980s toys like Easy Bake Ovens and Moblins and stuff like that. And again, it sort of caught on, but I really wasn't working out for me. But while filming one of those episodes, I ran across some old VHS tapes, and I brought them home, and I could barely get them working because I didn't know anything about fixing a VCR at the time or anything. And eventually got them working, and I just fell right back in love. I was like, and it hit me. This is what I want to do with my life. This is it. And I canceled my show. And the very next day I was VHS Mikey, and I wanted my entire channel to be every single tape that I get on that journey. And built, and I'm throwing out all my furniture and building my store here, just letting go of my old life and starting this new one with you guys.
I have no idea how to. I am definitely not someone you want to live with.
No, I mean, of course, I'd get my own home and whatnot. I might come over for some sugar or something.
I forgot. We're going to have the Rambo Last Blood tunnel system underneath.
Yes, we are.
Between all three domiciles.
Yeah, it'll be like Day of the Dead. Like big old. We'll ride golf carts to each other's houses.
Go from one house, which is a video store, to another house, which is a video store, to then just Evil's house, which is
the back room.
Just the back room.
It's just It's just an October-themed basement, which has a backroom corner in it.
It's going to be Spirit Halloween.
Shit.
It is, and that's the take I've done. I was like, well, they made video stores. I'm just going to make my basement feel like it's the month of October all the time.
Forever.
All the cheap plastic skeletons.
Yeah. Yes, every single one of them.
Yes.
Well, me and Roger...
More retro, classic decor I can find, I will fill up down here. Just for you, Remix. Just for you.
Me and Roger we didn't know each other, so I didn't know he was building a video store and he didn't know I was building one. He already had one well established. I was amazed there was anybody even collecting VHS tapes. And I'd get online, I'd see all these people, and it would just blow my mind. Wow, there's a huge community out here, and I felt a little behind at first, but I think I more than caught up at this point.
Yeah, you're doing a fantastic job, and I tell anybody who will listen that you're leaps and bounds above 99% of these YouTubers out here. You really understand the show aspect. You understand the branding aspect. And above all else, you understand about being genuine. Because the crazy thing that goes on in the YouTube world is I feel like there's a lot of like...
disingenuous fake people.
A lot of funk faking, you know? I mean, if you just be who you are, and be proud of who you are. And I think that goes well with us because aside from Remix, we're all older fellas who have a little bit of life experience. It might not be the best life experience, but you know, we've been through some shit. We've thrown out old lives. We've had rough relationships. We've had struggle, strife, and all of that stuff, and we just don't have time. We don't have time for kid games, but we have all the time in the world for kid shit, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, I don't like people.
Fuck them.
Well, I think down the road we could all get a building together and just jam out and turn our homes back into homes.
Yes, it would be amazing to have a studio, to just be able to work and create and have fun and connect with the audience, because that's one thing that's that I've taken away from being a content creator is sometimes, I mean, like the highs are really high, you know, when you have a video that kind of pops off a little bit, or you get a lot of comments, or people just really catch the one joke that you throw out or whatever, but the lows are really low, and sometimes you feel like you're spinning your wheels, and it can really like suck the wind right out of your sails. But the one thing that I've taken away from this whole YouTube journey is there's a lot of people out there that are a lot like us. You know, you just gotta find them, and they gotta find us, and that's one of the great things about it is growing up in a small town, which we all have. Being the weird kid was like a death sentence, you know, like Evil said. You know, you're wearing your wrestling shirts and not a lot of people are willing to associate with you, or you got your Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt on, and you got 16 kids in your graduating class, so 15 of them think you're a fucking idiot or whatever, you know. But when, you know, the world opened up because we have a YouTube channel, so we can find all of those oddball people who are just like us and give them a place to call home, and, you know, get rid of some of that hatred that they're used to dealing with, because we've already dealt with it, and we don't do anything negative with our channel or our content.
Except for talk about Snowpiercer.
I don't like Snowpiercer either. So.
I just didn't like it. It doesn't. I'm not gonna hate on it. I just didn't like it. I'm allowed to not like things.
And we got to know what you don't like, otherwise we don't know what you do like. Really,
I love everything. I love everything except Snowpiercer.
Well, it's Snakes on a Plane with poor people.
Hey, and Snakes on a Plane is dope, though. That's the difference. Like, Snakes on a Plane is good shit.
I like the internet skits more on it, but than the movie.
I didn't know there were internet skits. My whole world is upside down right now.
The whole existence is shattered.
Right?
that turns my whole world upside down.
Yeah, it was a bit of a meme, and and then they made a movie out of a meme, essentially.
Nice. I used to, back in the days of MySpace, which rest in peace. I used to every year on a very specific day take the exact same picture with my copy of Snakes on a Plane. I have a Jigsaw Saw shirt that's got the Billy puppet, and I would hold Snakes on a Plane and do a stupid face. And I did that every year for like 9 years. So I have like this progression of like the hairline disappearing, the beard getting bigger, the face getting fatter, but the movie stays the same and the shirt just gets tighter and tighter.
Do you still have that shirt?
Yes, I do.
Start
You
the
should
tradition
carry
back
that
up.
tradition.
Can you? I was like, can you reignite this tradition?
Instagram is the place.
And can we do it like once a month?
Every day. The same picture of me with Snakes on a Plane every day.
I was trying to find the gaffer for Bill and Ted because I wanted to know who the gaffer was after the comment
Fucking
was made.
gaffers.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah, we got... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, they're really good with tape.
We're going to have a bunch of gaffers fuck us up after a show sometime.
It's like the Warriors, but it's just like 60 gaffers with fucking like sleeveless leather jackets.
And the best boy, it's him. Get him, boss.
I'm gonna fuck a Best Boy up. Fuck a Best Boy up in a Best Buy parking lot.
Don't tangle with the grips though.
That's right.
Yeah, grips are fucking huge. I wouldn't fuck with them.
Yeah, they move all the hot lights, right? Most of the time.
Yeah. Grips chew glass as a hobby.
Learn something new every day. See, I'm learning all types of new stuff in this podcast.
I learned something new the other day that's completely off topic. But I was looking at the Shudder Cursed Films set that just came out on Blu-ray, and they announced they're doing a season 2. I was like, I was trying to figure out what the fuck movies could they talk about in a season 2. So I started looking through supposed cursed films, and I came across one that's like, they're like, it's so cursed it never got made. It's a movie called It's a movie called A Tuck.
A Tuck.
And it's about a fish out of water story about an Eskimo going to New York City.
Inuit.
An Inuit?
They are called Inuits.
Yes.
Eskimo is a racially charged term. Let's not get canceled here, folks.
On episode 3.
Well, I'm also going back to how far this script goes, because this is a script. This is a script that has, get this amount of people that were tied to this movie at one point that are no longer with us. John Belushi.
Okay.
Sam Kinison.
All right.
John Candy.
What?
Phil Hartman. And Chris Farley.
Jesus Christ. What it was they had a fucking casting party. They gave out everybody 8 balls and they all fucking died. Except for Phil Hartman. He got his head blown off. But
Well, actually, Sam Kinison was killed in a car accident.
that's because of the 8 ball, though.
Yeah, so much blow at that party for sure. Right. Them doing blow and then falling through the tables in a comical manner.
Let's all get out our mirrors.
It was a combination of blow and cocaine.
And do a line of cocaine as a sight gag for this podcast.
My nose is all clogged up. I'm a nerd, so I always have sinus problems. So so maybe some
a friend at one point in school to do a line of pixie stick dust.
What happened to him? Is he still with us?
As far as I know, I think he got married and had several kids and lives in one of the Dakotas, I want to say.
I
don't know if that's related to the pixie dust or not.
I had a buddy in high school. I'm sure I've told this story on one of the live streams at some point, but do you guys remember it was a very short-lived hard candy? It was a Jolt Cola hard candy that you would like. It came in like one of those little like Altoid tins. You just suck on them. They were little squares.
No. Sounds terrible.
Right. One piece of the candy was like 3 cups of coffee. Like, you know how they tell you that on the can? Like, oh, 1 can of this is 3 cups of coffee. So one piece of candy was like 3 cups of coffee. And we used to go to the store and buy them. And we would all fucking pop them and hang out and play video games and stuff. And we had a buddy, I'm not going to say his name, but we were all kind of hanging out. And we went to the store and got our soda and got our candy. And then we dared this kid to eat the entire container of it, which is like 30 pieces or 35 pieces, whatever. He eats them all. And then we're like hanging out and he's like sweating. And he's like, I do not feel good. He's like 15. He takes off on his bike. And then the next day we go to school and he's not at school. He had to go to the hospital and get his stomach pumped. It fucked him up wicked bad. And then I swear to God, it was like a month later, Jolt Cola candies were not a thing. It was like that short-lived.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing. Definitely.
I was really filling in a lot of the gaps in the little gaps you had in that story there. Like, I'm picturing him sweating and then standing up going, I'm going to go ride my bike. And then, like, the next day, he's still riding his bike.
Like with a groove in the street because he's rode that street so many times.
The fucking bicycle tires are looking like the propeller in Dante's Peak, just worn the fuck down to nubs.
And that's the story of Mikey McGee.
Mikey McGee is no longer with us, but God rest his soul.
I think that kid ended up getting like a really bad drug addiction, and I think he might be in prison. So it probably was our fault. The dare to eat all the Jolt Cola probably started the whole thing.
He was doing that. Go ahead.
You are straight up living a Seinfeld episode now where you have to go back, visit him in jail, and apologize for daring him into the life that he ended up living.
Pull a Holliston.
Give him a
Yeah.
Honesty.
give him a bump of high quality toot.
Yeah. Like, yeah, get a can of Jolt Cola, like fucking dry it out, and then just give him a Ziploc bag of Jolt Cola powder.
Are we just going to skip over that? This is the Deep Cut podcast. He just threw out a Jason Takes Manhattan reference. Deep Cut.
He did. There it is. Deep cut. We need like
It should be a game at the end, but like if you can name all the deep cuts that were dropped in a particular episode, you could win a prize. But you got to name every single one that's dropped.
We got to call out.
Never recognize.
We got to call out the deep cuts, but not say what it is. So it'd be like you get the reference, deep cut, and then by the end be like, there were this many deep cuts.
Running tally of the deep cuts. Yes. See, we're still tightening up this formula. We're still learning the ways of the podcast. Even though we've been
podcasting, but this is our official rebranding of an official podcast where we're all on something, because we both have separate ones that we've done on our Patreon.
Absolutely.
For about several months now, where you've done what all have you done? You've done some movies that you've discussed. You've had some just generic topics where you've talked to the various people.
Yeah.
And then I've got my rando pro wrestling one that I do.
Yeah, we try to stick to a curriculum of specific films, but sometimes that doesn't work out. So sometimes it's like questions or we have a guest, which like this one, this is a very loose podcast of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and / interviewing VHS Mikey, also / going off on random tangents.
I say this whole show has been a random tangent.
Yeah, that's just what we do. We'll tighten up the formula. We'll get better at it, I promise.
No, make that part of every single description. Be like the general topics, and always at the end / random random topics.
Since Evil brought it up, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/3B and donate just $1 and get access to the whole back catalog of Kayfabe for Real podcasts with Evil Dead Inks and his wife, What's Up, Pam, or get unlimited access to the so many odd episodes that we've done of the 3B podcast, which is on its second iteration now. Yes. And about to become its third, because it used to be Roger, his old editor, and friends, and then it became Roger, Remix, and Mrs. DeMarco, and now we've kind of got this Deep Cut podcast, which might be going on just a couple weeks early on the Patreon, if you actually...
That's what we're shooting for, is that Patreons, if you're listening, or if you're thinking about becoming a Patreon, you will gain access to these podcasts slightly earlier than everyone else. So you can be, early to the party. You can catch all the references. You can join us on our Discord and be like, that shit was funny. That Jolt Cola joke. Or whatever.
You can count all the deep cuts.
Jolt Cola shit. I love it.
Count all the deep cuts and post it in the comments when it gets to the actual podcasting platforms before anybody else has even a chance to listen to it.
Yes.
But if you're a super crazy person, that is a clarification. Kayfabe will still be a patron only one. That one stays its own fucking entity that you got to pay at least a whole $1 for.
Patreon.com/3B.
3B.
Partially because I don't think a great ton of people are interested in listening to me ramble for half an hour to 90 minutes on pro wrestling topics.
Wrestling.
Dude,
I'm on board.
You get a lot of thumbs up on the Patreon, so people are listening. All right, what's next?
Well, you see, we were talking about the scene where he falls down the stairs in the suit of armor, And then
Yes.
we got a bit on a
God,
tangent.
we're really behind.
That was about 40 minutes ago.
Then it was my complaints off air, like, how the hell do they get so pinpoint accurate with their landings on this phone booth in their montage? Because, yeah, when they go to the Old West, they just randomly drop next to an outhouse. Lucky, but it doesn't seem like they have any particular, like, place they're going to look. And I really feel Rufus was telling them, look, go to these fucking places, observe shit, do a report, not kidnap X amount of historical figures, take them back to San Dimas and do a report, and then send them all back, which, man, that's got to be a tedious fucking After Dark special, is once that movie ends, is they're like, all right, now we got to go back to all these places in time and drop all these guys back off at their locations and then threaten them to never talk about this ever again.
Well, they used the historical people in the future to teach classes and stuff in the second movie. So, I mean, I guess the future people do it too. So I guess our timeline in their universe is a little more fluid.
Gotcha.
You just need to go to historical figures and be like, when did they come get you? The great ones, Don't act like you don't know who I'm talking about. Those two guys, they came in, they play the guitars.
So do you have
When they come get you?
Do you have any explanation, Mikey, on the pinpoint accuracy of the phone booth?
Destiny. They are the great ones.
I like that. We can't
man,
explain that.
That's a shirt.
Just destiny.
That's a shirt. How'd that happen? Destiny.
You are my density.
That's
Back to
not
the Future reference. Deep cut.
That's not how the Force works.
For the record, I like Bill and Ted way more than Back to the Future, and
Yeah.
Back to the Future is a masterpiece. So that lets you know what I think of Bill and Ted.
Is a whole different animal because it is that buddy movie, So, I mean, I suppose Marty and Doc are buddies, but it's not the same, Bill and Ted have like
That's an unknown relationship.
Yeah.
We have no idea what the origin and history is.
That would
we
never
are just
work
kinda
now.
dropped right into that relationship of him just going to Doc's and ruining that giant speaker and all of that stuff.
Is anybody ever going to talk about the unspoken suicide pact in the beginning of that fucking movie?
In which movie?
Back to the Future? None of Doc's inventions have ever worked before. This is the first time he's testing the DeLorean, and he points it right the fuck at them. He has no idea if that's going to work. He is killing himself and Marty.
That's totally. Yeah, when Marty starts taking a step to the left, like he's going to get out of there, Doc's like, no, you're going.
Yeah.
If we're going to hell, you're going with me,
Yeah,
Marty.
that is an unspoken suicide pact. Marty is not down for that shit.
It is. He is. Yeah, just like how it's. He wasn't trying to hang a clock in the bathroom. He was really trying to hang himself, and it was a failed suicide attempt that made him hit his head on the sink and made him think of the flux capacitor. It's really just him like tired of failing and is ready to die.
More in his failings. He
We've
calls
all
a fucking
been there.
gigawatt a gigawatt. I don't think this man has a license.
Well, he did burn down his entire mansion, I'm guessing from mountains of piles of oily rags that he just collects.
Oh, shit. How do we get back to Bill and Ted?
Bill and Ted.
I'll tell you how we get back to Bill and Ted. I'll do another a character from that. What is your guys' thoughts on fucking Missy, who has a phone booth land in her backyard of her older husband and doesn't seem to mind or give a fuck that random people are coming out of a phone booth in her backyard? She's just like, yeah, there's fucking sodas in the fridge. Just make sure your fucking chores are done.
It takes place in the Doctor Who universe.
I have one word that's the answer. Valium. That bitch is high as shit.
Cocainum.
Driving a car around, be like, can you meet us at the back of the jail? Totally.
Well, she does pick rich old dudes, and so she's probably doing a lot of drugs to kind of build up a little courage to maybe sleep with them or whatever. Because she looks a little disturbed when, is it Bill's dad that's giving her the eye at the beginning of the movie? I don't know. It felt really uncomfortable when I watched it recently.
Oh, and he was...
And I think she might have had to medicate for sure to sleep with those guys.
When she's going to get
Gross.
ravaged in her stepson's room.
Yeah,
Old
were
balls.
Weird looking. That's a Billy Madison reference. Deep cut.
I was wondering why I knew that one.
Yeah, that's an odd thing to be like, yeah, I'm going to totally just wreck this, like, barely legal graduate in my son's bedroom.
Woof.
Yeah, that is a really weird scene. Because I was watching it the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, the kids can be around while I watch this. This is like wicked super, kid friendly. And it was that opener, where he's gonna plow her in the kid's bedroom, and then like totally the looking down the shirt and all that stuff. And both kids are like eating dinner, and they're like, not gonna look. Like, that was a sight gag. There you go. They look up while they're eating and then avert their eyes, and they're like, tell me when it's over. Like, they won't even scope out Missy's cleavage. They're so innocent. I love it.
On one of my VHS tapes, there's a hotline, a commercial for a hotline, and Missy's on the commercial, so it kind of makes you think that you might get a call Missy or something. And I always wanted to call it when I was a kid, but I never got courage because that was like talking to a girl.
It was like it. It wasn't quite there.
That's excellent. Did you ever call any of those 1-900 numbers?
Oh, yeah. Well, I got in trouble when I was older, of course. You just would call to see what was going to happen, and then, you'd get charged anyway.
Back in the day when like USA Up All Night used to be on, and they would show like Friday the 13th films or whatever, you'd hit like that 11 o'clock hour, and they would, 1-900 lick me or whatever. And so you would
1-900 big trucks.
and so you'd fucking dial it, and then, they would just answer. And so then all of a sudden the phone bill comes at the end of the month or whatever, the beginning of the next month, and you're grounded because there's like 14 calls to like all these dirty ass phone numbers.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm ready to be licked.
No, you have to do the licking. You have to lick your own receiver.
One licking, please.
It's like that episode of Beavis and Butthead where they call the hotline and the lady in the trailer park just puts the phone on, like sits on it. Can we like listen to your butt?
For like 12 hours.
Yeah.
You're like, put it back.
You know the exact episode.
Yeah, randomly, I do know that one. I don't know many, but I know that one. Just like early Simpsons episodes, which I'd really love to rewatch all those Treehouse of Horrors if I had the chance.
They need to put out a DVD collection of all the Treehouse of Horrors.
It's literally the only thing to be like, man, I am not interested in another subscription service, but Disney Plus has all the Simpsons episodes, and it's like, that's the only thing I would want.
I might just be able to hook you up with Disney Plus.
Whoa, illegal. Whoa.
What? I didn't know.
He can't share unless he's
Black
family.
Box.
Nobody tell.
We are. Don't you see the resemblance?
The 3B video family. I see the resemblance between the other two more than yourself.
I don't really watch streaming services much. I subscribe to Netflix, but I mostly just watch my tapes.
I watch streaming services when it is late at night. That's kind of like my go-to. I don't want to, we're here having fun. We're talking about Bill and Ted. And I'm going to make myself sound like that old man. When I was a kid at night, my mom would be like laying on the couch and she'd be watching either Law and Order or Forensic Files. And I was always like, God, like that is such an old curmudgeon like thing to do. You're laying on the couch watching Law and Order, hours of Law and Order or Forensic Files nonstop. And now as an adult, when it's like 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, yeah, let's watch Forensic Files. I'll throw that on as like my background noise. And I'm like, within 2 seconds of the episode, I'm like, I know this one. This is the one where the guy hit his wife with a hammer and threw her in the pool. Like I know them by heart. I'm such a old man when it comes to stuff like that.
That's me with Frasier.
Right? You just know them inside out because it's like,
yeah,
it's your background noise.
For me, that's Star Trek: The Next Generation.
You probably were, when you grew up, you were into it, right? So
yes.
It carried over. As a kid, I had cousins who were really big into Star Trek. So I kind of resented it because every time I would go over to my cousins to play, and if I was going to spend the night, it would hit like a certain hour and they'd be like, we're not going to play video games. We're not going to play with toys. We're not going to play D&D. We're not going to do any of this stuff. It's Star Trek time. And so it was always like the like 3 different iterations of Star Trek and then like Sliders. And I actually like Sliders or, you know, and then X-Files or whatever. So it was like this giant block of sci-fi stuff. So I never really got into it. But when I married my wife, she's actually kind of a Next Generation fan. So I get to watch them off and on with her when she goes into her little like modes. And it's not bad, but as a kid, I just kind of wanted to break the TV when it was on.
You don't want to watch them scan anomalies?
I'm old enough to remember the Sci-Fi Channel being a new thing.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and like Sliders and Millennium. Was that, or Millennium might have been Fox. But
Millennium was Fox. That was like the post X-Files, like next big thing that was supposed to be with Lance Henriksen. That I don't know how well it actually took off or not.
Yeah, there was a handful of shows that were that like post X-Files era, and there was even like the Outer Limits like reboot that was actually really solid, but 99% of those episodes were like space episodes. And so, like, I have, like, a weird thing about space. Sometimes I'm just like, I do not feel space.
Well, I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So no one can hear you scream there.
Right. Yeah, I know you definitely dig it. And I'm coming around. But, like, it does definitely leave a bad taste in my mouth from when I was a kid. Like, I want to watch
Joe Cola.
Yeah, I want to watch, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, shit, whatever. I'm on board with that.
Dude, I love Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it's back now. So that's cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys got to check it out. I think the first season is out, available to buy on DVD.
Oh, that's probably the only way I'm going to end up seeing it. I just can't justify subscribing to any of those services.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I only use them for late night or like if I'm going to have a house guest.
Shudder.
Yeah, Shudder for sure. Shudder is the only... Wait, what was that app, Evil?
Shudder.
I'll turn the bass up on that. You want to do that again?
You could give me the bass?
Yeah, you got the bass.
Shudder.
That's the only...
That turn it the other way for mine.
All right, let's... Oh, wait, I can't.
That's the only app worth having, for sure.
Mixer effects. They're fun.
Well, that one is the only one that has some shit that comes on at specific times, and that's the only time you can watch it for at least a while. Or they kind of have that, it's that old school, like, networking kind of setup where, like, no, you have to, that old mentality of being like, oh, yeah, everyone come over at our house at 8 o'clock, Predator's on.
Right, yeah.
We'll all watch Predator because it's on at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now it's the same with, like, The Last Drive-In. That
is the cool thing about Shudder is they have all the streaming, so you can go in and pick individual movies if you want. Or you can go to like one of 4 channels that just play movies or series or whatever all day. So if you're like a slasher guy, you go to the slasher channel and it'll just play slashers.
Slashix.
Yeah, it'll just play slashers 24 hours a day and it'll, be something new every time. Unless Sleepaway Camp's on there, which then it's always on there.
24 hours Sleepaway Camp.
It's
8 hours of Sleepaway Camp.
It's the new cable. Cable will eventually be dead, and it'll all be through subscription services that has all original content, specific things just for it, just like how cable was with HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, Stars. Right. Everything got their own shows and brands. It's going to be that with streaming services, and you'll end up at some point eventually paying the same that you were as cable prices that you are for streaming services.
That's exactly why I don't.
That's a slippery slope.
I was going to say, sight gag, show of hands, everybody who pays for cable. None of us. No one has cable anymore, and
because you can get it free on Pluto TV if you've got a smart TV. Watch 24 hours of Fear Factor.
I think the thing about our mentality is when it comes to a streaming service, which we've talked about this numerous times, and I know that all of us feel this exact same way, that say the license runs out for Cliffhanger. You love Cliffhanger and you're planning on watching Cliffhanger on Thursday night. You're going to get on Netflix and watch Cliffhanger, but guess what? They don't have the license anymore. It's not available. But if you're a physical media guy, you can go pull that off your shelf and it will never not be there. It's always there for you. So, as us, we grew up kind of collecting physical media. And so now, if there's something that we absolutely love or support, we have it on our shelf and we can take it down anytime and watch it anytime. And, I agree that streaming is convenient, but, it just doesn't compare to walking into a room filled with movies, scanning the spines, pulling one out, and being like, this is my night's plans.
And plus, it keeps George Lucas from fucking with your movies.
That's true.
I'm getting
That
eyes.
doesn't just apply for that. That applies for other ones as well. That heavily applies in the pro wrestling bits as far as like entrance music and shit. That's always fucking changed post outside of original recordings.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, like in our case of Nightmare 3, fucking the score is different on our copies that we know and grew up with, and as opposed to what's played for everyone else in the world, apparently, except for me and Raj.
Yeah, well, that's because, like, again, the music license might run out in between the DVD release to the Blu-ray, or it might have run out, from the VHS to the DVD. So the only way to hear it originally is to have it on that original format, that VHS. Like, there is no copy of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 in the world except for that original media release that has that opener. And any other version you watch, the music is completely different. But Evil and I, that's one thing that we've always shared. Like, he brought it up to me, it's got to have been over a year, 2 years. You were like, do you remember this music? And it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like, I thought I imagined that. Yes, the music was different. And we scoured the earth until we found that original VHS, popped it in, and there it was. Because I don't like people meddling with our films.
Well, you say meddling and George Lucas gets brought up, you look my way. VHS Mikey, have you heard about the changes that they made to the original Star Wars on this next go-around?
The McClunky stuff, or
the
even
fucking McClunky stuff.
Yeah, fuck some McClunky shit.
I'm all about McClunky, yo. I'm gonna get that shit tattooed on my back, get Greedo's face.
I mean, at this point, it's kind of a meme to just keep fucking with it. So, fuck, just add more shit to it.
Straight up.
Yeah, just keep...
I got the original, fuck it,
Right. Yeah, and no one can take that from you. I mean, your VCR can eat it, but,
Yes.
You don't say that.
Yeah, you definitely don't say that, because what was the movie?
You don't say that.
Mikey, you had a movie.
Yes.
Creepshow. Was it your Creepshow that your VCR ate?
Yes, it was one of the first 5 tapes I got when I started my channel. And that VCR, I call it the Mangler. I don't even use it anymore. I have
use it as a washing machine?
No, I've since thrown it away.
I was gonna say, you wash your clothes in that.
But I stay away from it. It just eats tapes. It's eaten 3 a league of their own, or whatever it's called. I'm done with it.
There's no crying in the Mangler. Yeah, you gotta be wary of some of those.
Lawnmower Man.
Do what?
Nor is there custard in the Lawnmower Man.
That's true. There's only custard in Dead Alive. That is an old school deep cut. Yeah, you gotta like. I'm super jealous too that you even had a VHS copy of Creepshow, and it makes me like wicked sad that it got ruined, because that's like one of my all-time favorite go-to films.
The sad thing is, I think I could fix it now, but I didn't know anything about that when I started my channel, and I've kind of learned along the way.
Did you throw it away?
Oh yeah, it's long gone. I just thought it was done for,
Couldn't have even used it as a gag destroyed tape.
Yeah, I was sad and I threw it away.
Now I'm sad. You've depressed me.
I still have the cover, but that's it.
Evil, do you have Creepshow on VHS? You fucker.
He's been holding on to that for like 10 minutes.
Sight gag.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Sight gag like a
I'll
motherfucker.
just dig it out from my pile right here and be like, oh, you mean this Creepshow right here?
I'll trade you straight across. I got a
not rewound.
Super sweet copy of Schindler's List on VHS.
It's not rewound. How far into it is it? The end?
Where is it? That's another thing that I'm excellent
Oh,
at.
I'd say you have, I don't know if there's any way you could kind
I'm gonna
of
zoom in on that.
there.
Oh, God. Well, that's, they're creeping up on you. No doubt. It's going to be... Got bugs, Mr. Pratt?
That's the cool thing is, don't matter where you were.
I think we tried that. I think we did that at one point. When I first got this, I put it in and we did that exact game, and I think you were pretty fucking close. I will have to off-air snap you what the response is when we wrap here, and I go put that in the player and see what the final verdict is on where the movie is lying.
That's a cool thing is, don't matter how many years you pick up a tape, if you didn't rewind it, it's going to be right where you were when you left off 10, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And dude, you talk about like an amazing blast of nostalgia, you know, because the thing about movies for us, and I'm sure it's the same way for you, is it's not necessarily the movie. It's all of the emotions and all of the memories tied to that movie. So like when you put in Star Wars, it's not like, obviously you love the movie. So you're like, I love this movie, but it immediately takes you back in time to like all of the key viewings of that movie. Like maybe you watched it with your first girlfriend and you fucking finger banged her, or maybe you watched it with your.
Oh wow!
I'm serious. It's stuff like that.
I think you had a cooler childhood than I did. I watched these movies by myself.
But I mean, maybe you remember, sitting on your dad's lap and watching it, or it's weird things like that.
And then you finger banged him.
Whoa, that's a whole different podcast. Listen here.
Like, oh my gosh, it's two very different things. I don't want clashing together
right.
at any given time.
I'm walking away from that one.
Right. But I mean, and that's the one thing about movies is that you get to create new memories and new experiences with them. With Evil and I both having kids, it's one of those things that we both talk about a lot, off air and sometimes on air, about discovering the perfect time to introduce a kid to a specific film. Because sometimes if you do it too early, it doesn't have an impact, or they won't remember it. So you gotta find that sweet spot. And there's nothing like sitting down and experiencing a movie with your kid, and giving them that memory to take forever, and pass it on. And that's movies are just an extremely powerful thing, an extremely important thing in all of our lives. And I want to go back and kind of say, like, obviously we don't have credentials of film school or anything like that. It's just we're just a bunch of geeks who love these movies and care about them.
We didn't go to film school. We just watched a lot of films.
Absolutely. That's a Tarantino quote. Deep cut.
I was wondering, are we going to do 1 stars?
Do you have some 1 stars for Bill and Ted?
Yes, I still have those 1 stars for Bill and Ted that we never got to do because we couldn't get a live show going tonight.
I'm going to have you let everybody at home know what we're about to do. We'll do those, and then we will give our final thoughts on the film.
But yeah, this all originated because, I mean, who doesn't in this day and age use Amazon for something, ordering whatever you may desire. And one day I just happened to be cruising through my Amazon app on my phone and like, I'm going to look up. I noticed on Amazon you can rank things 1 to 5 stars. I'm going to look up, because I'm an Elm Street guy, I'm going to look up the original Nightmare on Elm Street just to see what the ratings are, what the stars are like. And immediately I was drawn to, I wonder what 1-star reviews look like for A Nightmare on Elm Street. What do people have to say that didn't like this movie? And the first thing that popped up was somebody that gave the film 1 star strictly because they didn't think they should have to pay for a movie that was made in 1984.
Which is still one of the funniest things I've ever fucking heard in my life.
So floated that to Raj, being like, hey, this could totally, I think, be a possible segment for when we're talking about specific movies, is we're going to gush over it for an hour, hour and a half. What if we dedicate a little bit of time to people who didn't like the movie for... Most of the time, I try to find really bizarre, weird, or humorous reasons. I don't have nothing against any of these people that gave any of these films 1 stars. I actually thoroughly enjoy them and love them. I'm actually more bummed out when I have to read a bunch of people that are complaining about either the quality of the film, that they got a broken disc, or decide to, do their entire life story in a Amazon review, which goes on for paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. I like generally short, sweet, to the point. preferably bizarre points. So we thoroughly love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure here, so let's take a look at the people who didn't like this movie, like Edgar Incendio on March 29th, 2006. 1 star. Really overrated. I'm sorry, I just don't see how people can get this. It's not funny in the least. The plot is retarded.
Oof.
The acting, even more so. It obviously took the main characters no time at all to memorize their lines. Heinous. Dude. Like. Excellent. Is basically the whole movie. It takes real effort to make a movie this monotonous.
Monotonous?
For that, monotonous.
Monotonous.
Monotonous. Monotonous.
That's French, man.
Pause. Me stop.
Arrivederci.
Of course, remix.
For that, I applaud the director. The first time I saw it, I thought it was be funny, but I fell asleep. Real comedic.
Is that it?
That's it for Edgar, yeah.
Wow, well, that's just like your opinion, dude.
I don't even want to think what my childhood would have been like without Bill and Ted to raise my spirits.
Right? Even the shitty LJN game.
I always wanted it. I would look at it in Nintendo Power, and I would, we only got like one Nintendo game every now and again. So it was a big deal. And it was just one I would have to pretend I had because we never had any money. But it looked cool in the magazine.
I rented it a lot from our local gas station. It was not super great, but, it'll do in a pinch. Yeah, you need a new game
I
to
don't
play.
got much, but I got Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Whoa.
There's a cleavage shot. It'll do in a pinch.
In the game? All right, next up is Amazon customer, so we need a name for this person.
Mikey, give us a stupid name for this reviewer.
Big John.
Old Big John, November 28, 2016, says, meh. Thought my kids would enjoy it. It's okay at best.
That's it?
It's okay,
That's it.
but it's worth only 1 star.
It's okay.
It's not even a 3-star okay.
Yeah, 3 stars should be passable.
Right. Again, I don't think some of these people know how the stars work, but to each their
A couple of real in-depth ones coming up here. This is from D. Rodriguez on September 27, 2015. 1 star. Stupid. Really.
Okay, that's it?
That's all they got for
That's
that.
it.
Oh, I was like, is that just the title? I was waiting, because normally
No,
you say title.
That's the whole thing. Next one up, though, I will give you a title and description because it's super in-depth. This is from Eric Ray
Okay.
on July 21st, 2017. 1 star. Terrible. He goes on to say, terrible.
Felt like reiterating it, Yeah.
Very, yeah. Next up, we got Derek O'Donoghue.
Okay.
1 star. I didn't get a date. No, we got January 10th, 2001. Wow. A 19-year-old review for this.
That
1 star.
review,
This
that
I
review
actually can't
is,
give you.
That review is old enough to do anal. Just saying.
Who's a Nell?
Who's Lana?
Is that a follow-up?
I just know Lonnie got his ass away from there.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Halloween reference. Deep cut.
I also put a Employee of the Month reference in there, too, for anyone that got the Anel.
I did miss it. I do love that
cut.
movie.
This is indeed an 89 Honda.
How dare you? Like, totally mint.
If it's on the shelf, you gotta sell it.
That movie is fucking great.
A piece of shit Honda.
I just always wanted to work in retail and build a little fort on the second shelf.
I want to work at a Menards just so I
Oh,
can...
man, have I been tempted. Have I been fucking tempted.
That's the new 3D
But back
video.
to Derek Yeah.
Sorry, go
Back
ahead.
to Derek O'Donoghue. He actually has a lengthy explanation for himself, but he goes, radical in all the wrong ways. a snapshot of modern America. Friends of mine I respect adore this film, so I guess I should judge it on its own terms. It certainly captures a moment in post-modernity when history becomes a flat nothing, reduced to propaganda for the great project of American amnesia. I'd like to think the whole thing was sarcastic, never mind subversive. I wouldn't mind, but they get a relatively good idea and do nothing with it. You've got all these famous people from history, and you don't try to see how they'd spark off each other or how they genuinely react to our world. I suppose there is something subversive about taking self-important great men and token woman dressed like a man and making them ridiculous, but that would be satire. The insane script, thumpable acting, and non-existent visual style are meant to be endearing. I guess I'm old-fashioned. It made me feel violent.
Hey,
Fuck.
I think they deal with they show how they feel in modern times. Genghis Khan was skateboarding. Napoleon was eating that Ziggy Pig ice cream. Loving the Waterloo slides, or Waterloo. Sorry.
Man, I was terrified when Genghis was beating the shit out of that mannequin with a ball bat. Like, that looked like I'm not trained enough in security to handle this guy today.
That skateboard's rad.
And I guess I did not notice either when Freud and Billy the Kid roll up on the chicks that Freud has a corn dog.
Whoa!
And it's like sticking up like this when he goes up to start talking, and then they start laughing at him. That corn dog just.
I have never noticed that.
If you notice, he always has something phallic either in his mouth or in his hand in every scene. Like he gets the vacuum stuck on his mouth.
Yeah, that's true. He does. Holy shit, dude! You're blowing my mind here. See, who needs film school?
Freud's got an oral fixation.
Well, I think the guy that wrote that 1-star review was fresh out of film school, and he's like, "Ooh, I got a scathing review for this."
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill and Ted's gonna get it.
Put his fucking monocle on and fucking be a dickwad.
Yeah, he's fun at parties.
Yeah, I'd like to think he's just going through the line of movies going, oh, which one's gonna be first? Who's gonna get it? Oh, Bill and Ted, you're on the block today.
We've talked about this all the time. I know you probably have another review, but I just want to say quickly. That this day and age, which we're no better because we're making a podcast discussing the film, but this day and age, it's so simple to click on a website and be like, these are my opinions. Everybody value my hatred that I'm spewing. And that's the one thing about us is that we never choose to discuss things that bring us down. And I feel like it takes so much energy to be a negative bastard and to not have fun with things. Like, sure, these movies have shortcomings or they have technical issues, but you gotta like step off of that snooty bar stool and just have some fucking fun. Watch something stupid.
I would totally watch a series where it's just like one dude, like a film student, 2 to 3 minute videos, just absolutely tearing down movies in the fastest way possible. Just being like, all of these stupid aspects, it doesn't cover this stuff, end of video. Like,
that's
in these condensed 1-star review type situations.
And maybe we could buzz in and say why we like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me interrupt you. 2-year film school.
Film court.
Jerkwad. Yeah.
One person.
I object.
One person defending and one person trying to slam the movie.
That's trademark.
Oh, you're onto something now, man.
Trademark.
You are onto something.
Night Court on Elm Street.
The problem is they would have a critical analysis of it, and I'd be like, this movie makes me feel a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, that's just as valid, though, because if a movie makes you feel some sort of way, that movie did its job. Mm-hmm. Just because it's not necessarily a perfect film in every single way doesn't mean it's not a valid form of art.
Absolutely.
When we talked earlier when Ted gets stabbed or whatever, or was it Bill? I don't remember. But sorry, my brain's like drawing a blank here. But When he gets
Neither of them, but it was supposed to be Ted.
when he gets stabbed, I used to get really sad when I was a kid. I was like, "Oh my god, he's gone."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it elicits a certain feeling from you. And all art is subjective. So you can't please all the people all the time, and not everybody is going to like the same thing. But there's a way to go about it where you're not so hateful, you know. That guy wasn't necessarily
picturing
hateful.
That's what he was saying.
But
I was picturing that's the shit what he was saying, like at the funeral. He's just standing at Ted's casket going, bogus, heinous, rubbing the casket. Oh, Ted, don't be dead, dude.
Well, couldn't he go back in time and get another version of him?
Oh. No, they got to face the music eventually.
You would think, but they have that fucking line where it's like, time never stops moving here, which somehow can explain that. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't want to get into all the time travel stuff. That's
I want to get into the time travel eventually. I need to go back and rewatch it all and watch the cartoon, see if there's any time travel shenanigans that goes on.
It's very timey-wimey for you Doctor Who fans.
Yeah. All right, Evil, what do you got?
I got two more. This is from Vibrational World on July 18, 2019. 1 star. Seriously, dude, this sucks. This movie can be compared to Pee-wee's Playhouse or movie. It is that bad. If I were an actor on this movie, I wouldn't even put this on my resume. Wow, for years I heard people rave about how good this movie was, how sad I am. I am sorry for opening the Pandora's box, but the curiosity got to me. I can't believe this movie is rated 4.5 stars. Don't watch this movie. It is a waste of your time and brain power. This is all in caps the rest of the way. Go now. Run. Run for your life. Lol.
LOL.
He did it for the lulz, man.
Oh, man.
You know, yeah, that's the negativity, man. That's just, why can't you just be like, saw it, didn't necessarily dig it, but whatever. Like, you know, like, it just takes extra effort to be a dickwad.
Well, are you ready for the last one and I think the best one I read of the set?
All right, let's hear it.
Save the best for last.
Freddy's Dead reference.
KT Amazon. Yeah, KT Amazon customer. So we'll call them Frederick.
All right.
Frederick on March 25th, 2016. 1 star. In the middle of Princess Bride, the movie stopped working.
What?
Boom, mic drop.
In the movie Princess Bride, the movie stopped working.
Mic drop.
I'm super confused.
See, I totally think that's somebody's fucking sleeper cell code.
Oh, like,
Somebody just got
yeah, it
activated.
got activated. Because
We're perpetuating it on the podcast. What have you done?
Well, it was well, in all fairness, this was 4 years ago, so whoever did what they were going to do did it 4 years ago when they were scouring Bill and Ted reviews waiting for the Princess Bride 1 star review to come in.
Come in on the wire. Doot, 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 doot. Okay, so that's the end of the Amazon 1-star reviews. So I suppose we should give our final thoughts. So I'm gonna just shake things up. I'm gonna go with Remix first. Oh, you ain't even ready for that. What's up?
I don't know. Never seen it. I was ready for
my
it.
God.
Get fucked.
See, that was a joke. He got me. All right, Mikey, what about your final thoughts about this film?
I think everybody should watch this anytime they're down and out and just shut your brain off and have a little fun for a while.
Evil?
Love it. Go watch it.
Yeah, and as far as my final thoughts go, I think it's a staple. It's a movie that deserves to be seen and should be shared. I think it's important to film history. It's a very campy, fun movie that makes you feel good. A lot of the slang and stuff is outdated if you didn't grow up in that era, but the feeling is still the same. You still get what it means to be these two dudes and to be in this situation where they know they're destined for greatness and they're trying to overcome the adversity and start this band. And it's just like Mikey said, it's a pick me up movie. It's one of those movies where you're like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna excel at this one thing, or I don't know if I should ask this girl out, or whatever it may be. This is a good movie to throw on to be like, yes, because it's very fun. The soundtrack is really good and motivating, and it's just a movie that we love and we care a great deal about, and it is 100% popcorn as fuck. So I don't have anything negative to say about it, other than all the little silly stuff we nitpick, but we do that completely out of love.
Yep.
So it's never heinous.
That's the fun part of the job these days. As you heard from the intro, watch a few movies to take a few notes. I like taking really bizarre notes, like how the fuck does a phone booth land inside the White House?
Right. Yeah. That's just how we get down. And again, we are new to this podcast format, so hopefully you guys enjoy our very loose, rambling methods. And thank you guys for coming out and listening.
Thank you, Mikey, for coming on board. We love having you on, talking Bill and Ted. We know it's near and dear to your heart, so we were thoroughly excited to have you on to talk about it. Hopefully we can have you on to talk about the rest of these two movies and this franchise. Looking forward to the new movie. Tell the listeners at home where they can find your stuff. If they enjoyed listening to you here, where can they find more of you?
My name's VHS Mikey. You can find me on YouTube at VHS Mikey.
Don't forget your Instagram, VHS_Mikey, MIKEY.
Boom!
Thank you very much. Remix always with the saves.
Remix is the god among men. He stands off to the side. He pushes buttons. He looks up things for us so we can seem smarter than we really are because we're a bunch of goons.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a part of the 3B video on 3B Video YouTube. I'm also on my Instagram at Evil Dead Inks on Instagram. And we also have 3B Video on Facebook.
Don't forget your podcast exclusively on patreon.com/3B. 3 Bravo.
And I am also
3 Bravo Video. You can listen to just me talking, for the most part, to myself, but occasionally to, to the wife or whoever I can find that's an unfortunate soul that wants to sit with me and talk professional wrestling for various lengths of time.
Why have you not brought Roger on to one of your...
I'm on board.
Partially because I don't know exactly how to record and do that and have that all set up.
Just make him do it.
We're doing stuff on this tonight.
We got
and
this.
I'd rather have the person here with me while I'm doing it so I can look at them and talk to them while we're doing it.
You hear that, Mikey? You're excluded because he doesn't want to do it over the internet. Calling you out right on there.
I do, but I'm just not an internet guy, so I just know where I will fuck shit up. And it's like,
I don't know if you could do that one.
Unless if it's a person-to-person thing.
We are not tech people. That's why we have a tech guy.
Why do I have to do all this stuff? I'm not getting paid enough.
I'm not getting paid at all.
I get paid in all the sponsorship money. How about that?
There you go. That's a Day of the Dead reference. Deep cut. All right, guys.
There's pay? Gentlemen, we're history.
Later, tapeworms.
We're out.